Okay, hi everybody. After some minor technical problems, we are now live. Sorry about that. Um, my name is Doug with 2 Plus Dove. Welcome to While You're Reforging. This is my weekly show where instead of doing pre-recorded things, I just kind of hang out with folks and we kind of go through a topic together. And today's going to be no different. We got some cool stuff to talk about, various games. Of course, there's some big news from Games Workshop, so we'll talk about that as well. Go over hobby progress and stuff, as well as kind of do a thing that I love to do here, which is a date night. And the way that that basically works, if it sounds a little weird, it's just asking questions to get to know one another. And usually there's some fun stories involved in that kind of stuff. It's just very lighthearted, gives you something to listen to while you're painting and hobbying. So I always enjoy doing those quite a bit. Let me get the chat over here. I can hear you. Hello there. Awesome. Awesome. I'll pop out the chat so I can see it from my angle a little better. So we're gonna jump right in. I actually have stuff for every segment. I took like 2 to 3 weeks off. I just needed a mental health break, honestly. I just kind of needed to retreat a little bit, but the content didn't stop coming during the week. But I'm feeling good. I'm feeling refreshed. Everyone's hale and hearty, and so we're back at it. Real quick before I start, there's 2 things I want to mention. One, tomorrow at it would be noon my time, Central Time, I think. The guys over at Warhammer TV are doing an unboxing of the new Dominion box, which is kind of takes up the bulk, honestly, of mostly Games Workshop's articles this week. So there's not a ton of news from them. But when I've started doing like live streams, like Mystery Science Theater 3000 style, where I will watch their Twitch video and then stream my screen so that we can all chat together about what we think about it. So it makes it a little bit easier than their chat, and folks seem to enjoy it. So that's number 1. Number 2 is that I put a video out today called Rain in Hell, What Skirmish Games Should Be. And so that is my good friend Vince Ventrella and Uncle Adam from Tabletop Minions got together and they made their own skirmish game that has its own campaign system and stuff. You take the role of demons fighting for supremacy in hell. It's super metal, and that's a lot of cool stuff going on. They have kind of like sales pitchy stuff on their channels. I took the role of man who reads book and kind of just walked you through like what to expect when you buy it. So you can go ahead and check that out. It's like $10 for the PDF, $15 for a printed version and the PDF. Like, if you like either of those guys, just go support them. You know what I mean? Like, it is a cool game. It is very well done. I went out and bought some models for it this week, and I just think it's so cool looking. So yeah. But with that out of the way, let's go to the downward cam as we look at hobby progress. So I actually have done a lot since the last time I did a stream on Why You're Reforging. I'm not going to show it right now because it's too much to put in front of this little camera here. But I have painted most of a Spires army for the game Conquest, Last Argument of Kings. I recently got a warband box for them, so this is my expansion. Everyone's just sitting in here so I can take them outside and prime them. So we have, there's another unit of marksman in another box. We have 2 units of marksman, a biomancer, a high clone executor, a thing of forest-grown drones. All their shields are here. And then my favorite models ever, which are the Avatara, these super creepy looking, I don't know, something straight out of, was it Bloodborne, the game series? Yeah, that kind of crazy dark gothic art. And their leader, sorry for the scraping, is the Lineage Highborn, this super nasty lady with this big old cleaver. I don't know, I love these models so much. They have a lot of character to them, a really cool, creepy design. I like them quite a bit. Dark Souls, that's what I was trying to say, not Bloodborne, but yeah. Yeah, so I have really been enjoying these quite a bit. And I've painted up a whole bunch. So far I've painted the Spires half of the 2-player starter set and built most of the Warband box. I still have the clone infiltrators to my left over here on sprue, and this box of Avatara and the Lineage Highborn, which is the hero version of the Avatara. So that's what I've got going on there. I don't have anything building right now for AOS, and I'll be honest with you, when it comes to hobby progress, I'm a bit stumped when it comes to AOS at the moment. I'm in between armies, as I often am. And I'm kind of in a hold pattern because part of me wants to do the Soulblight Gravelords. I love that battle tome. Honestly, the straightforwardness of it reminds me of battle tomes from like 3 years ago when the game was much simpler, and I kind of dig that. Like it's a battle tome I can wrap my head around. On the flip side, I really do, in earnest, have a project idea that I want to do where I take a storm host and merge it with its city. So Cities of Sigmar. So if I did, Knights Excelsior, that'd be mixed with Excelsius the city. If I did Hallowed Knights, it would be Hallowheart, Cities of Sigmar stuff. And I would just like to be able to do that. So I'm just kind of waiting. The real thing I'm waiting for, to be honest with you, is to see how cumbersome mentally the new Stormcast battle tome is, if that makes sense. Like, I don't want to have to deal with like crazy extra mechanics. If it's very simple and straightforward, I'm on board. So I'm just kind of, like I said, I'm not down on the game. I'm not negative at all. I am just... Bloodborne is a Souls game also. Oh, I didn't know that. I don't play video games. I think I said that about 5 times yesterday when I was playing Stormground. I did a live stream yesterday playing some Stormground, the new Age of Sigmar video game. Go check it out. It's really cool. Let's see. So that's kind of where I'm at. Just kind of waiting, And plus, I don't know what the enemy faction is. We'll find out tomorrow when they do the unboxing. I'm sure they're going to have some better painted pictures of the miniatures. Like, I'm sure there's going to be an unboxing where they're on sprue, but then one where they show us like what they actually could build. So we'll find out there. So that'll kind of dictate my next project. But all in all, I'm in a very good place hobby-wise. I don't usually enjoy building, but I've been enjoying. The Conquest miniatures go together very simply, have a lot of sharp detail. Let's see. Wargamer Willie, loving another stream. It's probably been the worst 2 months ever. And Doug, you are the calm after the storm. Oh, buddy, hang in there. Hang in there. Reach out if you need anything. I've been working on integrating my Hallowed Knights into Hallowheart. They look great together. So I think I should pursue that as a neat hobby project. That's exactly what I want to do. Because my goals for... I guess we're still in hobby progress. This makes sense. My goals for a Cities of Sigmar army is to truly go nuts with mixing different fantasy races. Like, so if I have... I don't know. Whatever the ground gun guys are, right? Like the guys with the rifles. Having a mix of the old school Dwarden sculpts that have rifles with them, and maybe trying to kit bash some elves in there, that kind of a thing. So just trying to mix up the races and really reflect what is depicted in the lore for Cities of Sigmar. A good mix for just about everything. I would like to see that. And then obviously throw in some Stormcast who look super scary. So anyway, that's it for me for hobby progress. Like I said, not a ton outside of Conquest. Handgunners, thank you so much, Jack. Not a ton outside of Conquest at the moment, but like I said, I'm very excited for AOS. I'm just kind of waiting to see what the next chapter is before I dive into my next painting project for it. Now, moving on to games played, I actually do have some games played. First of all, I played Stormground. It's a video game. I'm going to count it because my time has been very limited lately to do anything. As far as actual games, though, this last weekend at a local store, I say local, it's about an hour away, in Vinton, Iowa, some friends of mine did a demo day for Conquest where we basically took over a game store. They had representations for just about every army there, and people could come and learn the game and pick up and stuff like that. So I did get a game in there. It was a super awkward game because we were on a table that was far too small for what we were trying to do. But it ended up being a ton of fun. If you're not part of the Conquest community, they're the nicest people ever. They're doing beta tests and that kind of stuff for their like 1.5 edition. So if you want to get plugged into a game and have a say about how it's designed, it's a good place to go. I'm just throwing that out there. But yeah, it was a ton of fun. I lost the game that I did play because it's kind of, if I'm going to equate it to AOS, right, which is obviously most of what I talk about here on the channel, it would be the equivalent of a really think like Blood Reavers with all the buffs stacked to the 9. They technically on paper are blenders, but of course if you breathe on them the wrong way, they die in droves. with Conquest, there was a unit like that from the Nord's army. They sat in the middle of the board, but because of the weird, far too small board we had, anytime I put it up there, to put a unit up there to try and like roadblock that cheap unit of nobodies who were really good in melee, they would just evaporate my units. So after the second unit that I let just evaporate, I was like, okay, we need to change our plans because, you know, running it forward to be a speed bump isn't working. And so then I kept all my units back so that he had to come to me and then I could charge him. It ended up being a really close game. I think it was like 4-5, you know, and I lost by 1 point, which ended up being not a problem at all. But it was cool. So anyway, thank you so much, Aaron, for a fun game. So that was it for me for games played. I haven't played anything else, I don't think. No. I did get a Tyranids army though. I guess that's more in hobby progress. I just wanted a small something to play Crusade with some local guys here. It's not for anything. It's just to hang out with folks. And so I had some extra models and stuff. Someone was trying to clear out at like 6,000 points of Tyranids, and I just swooped in and picked out a little Crusade army, and that's it. They're all painted, so it's just like lowest energy possible. But anyway, so we're gonna move into the news here. Let me just pull up everything I need for that. And boom, there we are. Actually, I'm going to pause here and just check out the chat. I have to pull something up on my end for our questions later. But if you have anything you want to ask about, go ahead and throw it in the chat. That game sounds much better than the excruciating defeat at the hands of Legions of Nagash. Yeah, it was honestly, like, because of the small size of the game, and the table board, like, you know, what would have been a very simple, straightforward, like easy unit to cut down, because I just didn't have the ranged firepower or anything like that to chip away at them. You know, they become a blender by default, accidentally. Okay, I think that I am ready to go here. Here's my chat pulled up so we can chat about this together. Let's see. My first blunder was not holding back. I love it. Age of Slanesh. Have you ever thought about getting into Infinity? Well, I do have some Infinity lore videos on the channel, and the same local gentleman who I've enjoyed playing a ton of games with also did a lot of Infinity stuff back in the day before the pandemic. So I'm not now, but my problem up in Seattle was that I couldn't find any players, and now I have some players, so I might be getting back into it. Yeah. I mean, honestly, the big thing there, though, is like it's so complicated. It's such a cumbersome rule set, even after they did their big, you know, quote-unquote simplifying with their new edition. Vince Ventrella, hey, thanks for the awesome review. Oh, absolutely. I love it. It's on my shelf. I'm going to bring it to conventions to get you guys to sign it. Was it Force-Grown clones? No, it was Force-Grown drones. Yep, the cheapest unit they have. And yes, they evaporate like paper. Luke asks, are you following along with the Animosity narrative campaign at all? I feel like you can get some cool lore videos out of it. You know, I did last year. I tried my best to keep up. Here's the problem with I don't know, scratch that. I was about to say here's the problem with the Animosity thing. There's nothing wrong with it. It's perfect. I love what they do. The problem with me and my recording schedule is that there's so much happening right now that, like, staying acutely up to date with individual stories week to week, it sounds so stressful that I want to go cry. So instead, what I'm going to do is just, like, do the content that I can, and then whenever GW drops a book, basically I've been dedicating a week to it. You know, on a practical level, the campaign coverage and that kind of stuff, that's kind of my bread and butter, you know, so that kind of takes priority. So I want to. It's just, it happened last year as well, where, like, there's just so many things happening at once when they like to do it in the summer, and that's just when Games Workshop just barfs a whole bunch of content for me. So That's always been an issue. And again, that's on me. It's not my thing. I do support everyone. Go play the awesome stuff they have over there. It's a really cool campaign format with storytelling and stuff. But yeah, I can't keep up. I would just crumble. Let's see. First off, love your channel. Secondly, what's the best way to enjoy AOS if you don't have a club or store near you? I mean, what's the best way to enjoy it? There's a lot of ways to enjoy the hobby. You could just be painting and collecting, reading the Black Library stories, or... I'm going to change this song because this is just oppressive. Oh, it's called Mornings. Oh, who the hell would want to wake up to this? Okay. What was I saying? Yeah, so there's a lot of different aspects of the hobby you can enjoy, and then just try and get people in. You know, honestly, if you're itching for a game, grab a 2-player starter set or 2 start collecting boxes and just have an army ready for people to jump in, and then, you know, spread the word. So that's what would be my suggestion. Doug, will you be participating? No, I won't. I have no one to play AOS in my immediate vicinity with for full games that would participate with that. That's kind of the problem with where I moved to, unfortunately. Not a lot of AOS people. I'm really hoping that this next edition does spark some interest with some of the guys who are more 40k minded. So, all right, let's jump into some news, my friends. We have our main page. I just picked out a few articles that I thought were cool. Sunday preview: The Mortal Realms quake beneath the tread of Kraganos. First of all, that is the most baller artwork for the collector edition. And let's see. Having been inadvertently freed from imprisonment, Kragnos, a primordial beast of terrible power, unleashes his wrath upon the city in a seismic battle with the forces of destruction following in his wake. The city he's headed for is Excelsius, and so I'm excited about that. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm so far behind on articles and stuff like that. I'm just kind of picking up the things that I think are the coolest. And really this article is just showcasing all of the units that are involved in this book. Full disclosure, you'll learn everything about it tomorrow morning. So I'm not gonna, no spoilers here or anything like that. I will say it does seem to be a very cool supplement. It changes stuff up for a myriad of factions in interesting ways, not just to exist. You know, I mean, I feel like, you know, some of the entries in the last Broken Realms Bill of Court was like, here's a new entry for Doom Seekers, and you're like, every Fire Slayer player was like, huh, cool. You know, that was it. That's all you could muster, because you're like, there are so many more things we need. There are so many more pressing issues than the Doom Seeker. But yeah. Oh, man. Let's see. You got Gotrix and Felix books. And this one final note on Black Library. Next week sees the release of 5 short stories set during the Age of Sigmar. From Monday to Friday, you can pick up 1 new story, all of which are set during the Broken Realms. The stories are entitled Oracle, Archmage, Darkmaster, Everqueen, and God of Earthquakes. Each offers fresh insight into the minds of the conflict's key players. That's wonderful. I'm surprised there's not a Nagash one, seeing how... Well, I guess he kind of got taken out of commission by Teclis. So, yeah, I guess that makes sense. Will Sylvaneth people be happy? That depends more on the person than it does on the rules. I'm just going to tell you that much. Oh, man. Because there are some people that will never be happy. And that is just the truth. Okay. The other thing I wanted to mention was the US Open Series. 3 beautiful locations, 6 grand tournaments, and all the gaming bliss. So in the UK, they have Warhammer World, where they can do these kinds of cool, crazy mega events and that kind of a thing. We don't really quite have an equivalent here. We have our own conventions, but those are independent circuits. They're not Games Workshop specifically. And so they've announced there are going to be 3 things, right? Taking place in 3 cities across southern US. There's Orlando, New Orleans, and Austin. You couldn't pick any place cooler. Okay, I mean, not cooler as in like Fawn's thumbs up. I mean like literally temperature cooler. Anyway, let's see the games. There's going to be a 40K Grand Tournament, and then also an Age of Sigmar one. Where is that at? The Warhammer 40K Grand Tournament will have 256 player spots. The Warhammer Age of Sigmar, here we go, next paragraph, will have 128 player spots available for each one. The signups for this go live. Where's the signups? They're just showing pictures of hotels. If you want to see pictures of hotels, go grab them. June 14th is when the tickets go live. Huge convention centers. I really do hope everything goes really well for them. I have to imagine this is a massive undertaking given the way the world is right now. This is a great sign of progress, and the world is healing, and as are the nerds. Texas is happy to have you. Oh, I don't know, man. Then we have 2 event exclusive models, which also, that guy you know, hurt me as well. This, we have Super BA Lady, who is a Lord of Chaos. Absolutely love her. Aspiring Champion of Chaos. That's the Aspiring Champion model we need. Like, get rid of that metal one where it's just like a corn guy holding up a skull or whatever. Then we have Necron Lord Hasmotep, the Resplendent, and he is resplendent. So, I mean, kudos on the naming convention there. As far as the actual events, you know, I'm not sure if I will be attending any of these ones this particular year. Because we're in Orlando, New Orleans, and Austin. So I'm actually from Texas. The problem is if I go to Texas and I don't turn it into a mega family vacation, my mother will actually kill me. And whenever I do go to Texas, I usually end up having an emotional crisis, existential dread and stuff. So we'll see. I have to think about that one. As a new edition dawns, where does each Grand Alliance stand? And this is just basically giving you a recap. It's not... there's no spoilers per se. It's just kind of setting up all the factions that have already been established and like where they actually are. So there's no spoilers about Kragnos other than he's here. But that's about it. Let's see. Just put on a fake mustache. Yes, that would be great. Probably go to the Austin one if we're not during the final of my first semester. Oh, bummer. Yeah, that's a rough time. And then we have our little article about Kragnos, and this is again, they're just showing off all the models that come with the Broken Realms Kragnos book. We got Big Hoss himself. We got the Crokinator. I love this model. He's so cool. I desperately wish that there was like an alternate build where it was a non-named character. I don't think there is, but I would love it if there was, because I feel like when you talk about the Slawn being this all-powerful center of an army, this is what I think of, right? Like this kind of model. I love him. They got some rule spoilers. Then, of course, we have Dexessa, Talon of Slanesh. Oh, they didn't show the other one? That's weird. Then we have Galen and Doralia Van Denst. One thing I will spoil for you. You can take them separately. I assumed that they had to be taken as a pair. They do not. And they are Cities of Sigmar witch hunters, and they are awesome. So, yeah. Let's see. The guy, I know that pain. I purchased tickets to the Gorillas and had to pass up the chance to go because it was literally my first day of grad. Oh, no. Oh, man, I would have killed to go to the Gorillas concert. And that's basically all that there is to talk about with the news, because if you don't know, kind of in a news lull, because they are going to start talking about the new edition, I believe, starting tomorrow. Once they display the models in the 3.0 starter set, in my brain, that really does start the countdown to when you can actually purchase it. And from that point forward, I'd imagine there's going to be a lot of articles about rules previews and stuff like that, and we will definitely talk about that. I plan, the reason I took kind of my little mental health break now is because I knew that as the ramp up to the next edition drop happens, I was going to be live streaming a lot. So even though today's GW news seems light, there's a lot of stuff on the horizon. So brace yourself, gird thy loins, and we'll get through it. One thing I do want to also share, I know that I and a few people in the chat really, really love Conquest, and they did their own hobby hangout where they previewed some models. Now I want you guys to take a look at this, okay? Let's just soak it in. Let it get into your pores. Feel it, live it, laugh it, love it. This is their version of dwarves, and this Mad Max looking crazy dude is the coolest freaking thing ever. You've got a guy here on the top center pointing. He's riding a Dinobot, a not Magmadroth. And then you have a guy on each side in a gunner seat, just like rocking a cannon. I'm just going to leave this here for a bit. I think this is the coolest thing ever. Parabellum was kind enough to send me a Dweg Home warband box. So, funny story. I'll just throw this out here while we're waiting for time to pass. I reached out to the guys at Parabellum and I was like, hey, listen, I'm curious about your guys' warband boxes because they kind of look like army starters. I was like, do these stay in stock? And they said yes. But I think they took that to mean like, please send me them. It was a question, but they took it as like a request. So they sent me a Spires box and the Dweg Home one, and I was like, thank you. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Bye. But this model makes me so excited, and their models get huge, dude. Like, there are some huge models they have at shockingly low prices when you come from Games Workshop hobby stuff. So anyway, kind of looks like he's surfing on it. Yeah. Yeah. So we have two more pictures I want to show you of how crazy awesome their fantasy world is. So we have Mad Max dwarves. Then we have this guy. So if you are familiar, the Wadroon I've talked about before are their orcs, okay, in the Conquest universe. For people who are only know about AOS stuff, imagine Bone Splitter orcs, but instead of hunting beasts, they ride them into battle, and they love dinosaurs. So it's orcs riding dinosaurs is the sales pitch for that faction. This tall Mamma Jamma, there's nothing next to him for scale. It is a colossal model. And in this particular photo, apologies. So this guy is flippin' huge. And he is their, I can't remember the name of the unit, but he is their T-Rex, their heavy option. And he looks absolutely stellar. So I think he looks awesome. I just wanted to share that because I was super busy when they were doing their stream. I wasn't able to catch it live. But the second I saw this picture, I was like, I want to go to there. I want the dino. So, and then the last picture is one of my favorite orcs mixed with skinks. Yeah, to an extent. Yeah, I could see that. So this one, we don't actually know. I believe it's called the Desolation Beast. It's definitely a Spire model, which would be my army, and I'm very excited to use it. But I don't know much about it. Like I didn't see a specific name. And if you don't know, the way that Parabellum did stuff was they will release a PDF with all the rules. So it would be like the equivalent of Games Workshop dumping a free battle tome when there's only like maybe a quarter of the models that, actually fill those units. And then over time they release them and fill out the ranks and that kind of stuff, play testing and tweaking as they go. So it's a very interactive community in terms of the game developers asking players for feedback. Right now they're testing a 1.5 edition. That seems really fun. And the Spires and the humans were their first armies that they released, and they're still getting models out. So there's a lot to look forward to. It's pretty cool. Chaos Greater Demon alternate model. Yeah, dude, I can imagine a whole bunch of people, especially for 40K, who like really want Slanesh Greater Demons and that kind of stuff, would love it. So yeah. Spire represent. Doug, you're doing the work of God by promoting conquest. Spyro, I'm worried about GW future. Nah, don't be. They got enough money to throw at anything, and they can make the dream work. So I'm going to leave this picture on this guy. I'm going to open it up to questions. Does anyone have any thoughts or questions about the news that you'd like to talk about while I prepare our next and key segment, the date night? So let me get some stuff. I usually build models and junk whilst I'm doing these. So let me get that all set up. Unfortunately, I have nothing primed, so it's been raining here the last few days. And I don't want to go ruin my primer. It turns out this stuff's pretty dang expensive. I've been doing a lot of mixing, contrast and traditional paints. And it's working out pretty well for me so far. Let's see. Opinions on Warhammer Plus. That's a great question, actually. Thoughts on the Croak rules? I'm not going to comment on them. I can't until tomorrow. Sorry, buddy. Opinions on Warhammer Plus? I don't understand how there's enough content to make it a worthwhile streaming service. It seems like they've just gotten into the game, so I don't know, but maybe it exists specifically so that they can license it out. Mark, it is a streaming service that Games Workshop wants to start doing where they have like animated features and stuff like that. Okay, so we're going to go to the downward cam here. Let me get myself set up here. Apologies, I'll get right back to your questions. Okay. And I take all the time in the world to do Q&A stuff, so we'll just chill here for a bit before we jump into the date night thing. Let's see. Hello, hey, Prophet F. Hashit. Do you think 100 Kingdoms will get a big monster or a big construct? You know, honestly, I have not even looked at their unit roster. I know that there's big stuff coming for everybody. I know that I think by the end of the year, are going to be getting, they call them orders, but like they're specialty units, like super special, heavy knights and that kind of stuff. So I imagine that's kind of what the focus is for them. But I know that they are getting some stuff. I just don't know what it is. I haven't seen enough of their roster to know like what things are available to them that don't yet have models. Have you tried the new STC brushes yet? I have not. No, honestly, I've been so busy lately. I haven't even been to a hobby store in a while, which is, I need to go get some new brushes, so I think that I will do that thing. Let's see. What is Warhammer Plus? Streaming service. I know you said no spoilers, but we know if we're getting Stormcast info besides the new box tomorrow. I have no idea. For as little as they tell me about what products I'm getting to do reviews for in the future, they tell me even less about what they're doing about Warhammer stream stuff. My thing is, I would imagine tomorrow they're going to obviously unbox the stuff. They will likely, in my guess, you know, instead of just unboxing and showing the sprues, I bet they will have pictures of the minis fully assembled and painted so that we can gawk upon them. And what else? Maybe, if we're lucky, you know how like every unit that they put inside of a starter set has its own like dedicated box separately? You know, like you can buy the 3 Evocators from the Soul Wars box or the 5-man unit from their own box. I wouldn't, you know, I'd like it if they showed us what the full unit options looked like for everything that came in the starter set. But I wouldn't definitely not expect any more than that. That's like the high limit of what I would imagine they are going to spoil for us. Oh, and yeah, probably show the cover art at least for the new battle tomes to get us excited. Let's see. Oh, I'm falling behind here. How would you do a Soulblight army? I would build a base of whatever your favorite troop is. So it's direwolves, skeleton warriors, zombies, whatever you like. And then just honestly cycle out different leaders to see what works and what you like. That's the beauty of it, is that they all draw from the same pool, but the different, lineages and that kind of stuff, they are freaking dope, and they radically change how the game operates. So I would definitely try, focus on building a solid base of troops, and then just try different combos of vampires to lead them. That's what I would do, because that's what gives you the most replayability. And if you start from the ground up with your units rather than just focusing on leaders, you probably won't make a bad choice. You know what I mean? Like, picking a unit that you like, let's say you love the new Skeleton Warrior kit, because why wouldn't you? You won't be disappointed if, your vampire leader, who's a named character for a specific sub-faction, kind of craps the bed. You can just be like, okay, well, that's a $30 purchase. Different leader. Okay, here we go. Totally different army now. And just kind of go from there. That guy, I wanted to ask, how open is the lore for Conquest? One of the things that keeps me hooked to Warhammer is the ability to integrate my own army into the lore, give them a whole history. How open is the lore? It is insanely open. It is comparable to Games Workshop in terms of being able to write your own thing. In fact, so basically on the Conquest site, they have a resource mechanic. Once you make an account, you can vote to see how the events and stuff like that transpire. If your account gets ranked up high enough, you can actually contribute with your own city ideas and create your own lore for them. The point is, it's very open. Locations are obviously mentioned and highlighted for individual stories, but they're not. Nothing's restrictive. How about that? And there's no named characters, so you don't even have that issue of like, how is he here, but also over there, kind of a thing. Where two Nagashes walk across the battlefield and shake their staffs angrily at each other. So yeah. Let's see. It's probably just gonna be another one of Amazon's sub services. Honestly, yeah, that wouldn't surprise me at all, because Amazon does offer business hosting and that kind of stuff. That would be perfect for their needs when it comes to hosting. Just a few content reels, like different shows, that kind of stuff. That makes perfect sense to me. I'm just gonna get caught up here on the chat. Let's see. Probably a new book. I'm just gonna pick up here at the bottom. If I missed your question and you want to ask it again, go ahead and just type it in again, and promise I won't get upset about that. I won't think you're spamming, I mean. Have you tried Saga, Age of Magic? I have not, but every time someone suggests something, I write it down, so let me do that. Saga, Age of Magic is it in Gripping Beast? Is that the name of that's a weird name for a company. Gripping Beast just makes me think of a whole bunch of inappropriate hands all over a monster. I will check it out. It seems cool. Let's see. Do you think Dominion will be permanent part of the range, or will it be like Indomitus? I have no idea. Because you mean like how Indomitus was like a limited time thing, and then they came out with a smaller set afterwards? I have no idea. We don't even know what's in it besides like 2 Stormcast models. So I'm at a loss on that one, buddy. To be honest, I don't like limited time deals, especially when it comes to getting people into the game. Like, to me, a 2-player starter set should absolutely stick around for people to get in at any point. Because at a certain, when you set a starter set that's limited, you're basically like, it's a starter set for people who already play this game. You're like, well, that's not the same thing. So anyway, that is my opinion. Let's see, I'll put the backs on one side and the front torsos on the other. Age of Nagash. Hey everybody. Good to see you, buddy. It's been a bit. I've been offline for a while. I apologize. I don't want you to think I ghosted you. What am I working on? These are clone infiltrators for the game Conquest. Matthew Thornton. Question, how many more date nights before you finally take me home? Well, this is date night number 3 or 4, which means it's time to put aside old facets of expectations on a relationship and just enjoy each other's company. That is what Doug's gonna say. No pressure. We just let the love flow, Let it happen. We'll put on some Kenny Rogers and we'll light a candle. Last question here before I jump into the main topic. So you've been playing Stormground. What are your thoughts on it? I'll be honest. I like it more than fantasy battles, like the Total War games, specifically because I like the turn-based stuff instead of a real-time strategy game, and I like it more than Warhammer Underworlds because I don't like deck building. That being said, I feel like there's a steep learning curve. I feel like the game it doesn't explain itself very well. So the first time I died, and your warband gets wiped, I didn't understand that your warband just comes right back to life with the same, upgrades and stuff. It's just you have to start a whole new story or saga and that kind of thing, and which is cool, but it just was not articulated. I feel like from the advertising. And so I was very confused, but once I got the hang of that, I was like, oh, this is super nice. I dig this a lot. Let's see. All right, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to kick it off with our date night question. So, here we go. Here's a dangerous one. If you could write a note to your younger self, what would you say? But you only have 3 words. Buckle up, Buttercup. There we go. It's gonna get rough. That's too many words. Let's see. What would this is gonna sound like the cheesiest thing ever, and I know that, and everyone's gonna roll their eyes and barf. But follow your dreams is actually a fairly good one, simply because I spent so much of my life and my college time and stuff trying to do what I thought other people wanted. What other people thought would be respectable as a career, and that was just the wrong way to live. That was a mistake. I wasted so much time. Stick with Tzeentch. I love it. Playing it as we speak. Need a little polish. Yep. Yeah, the quality of life stuff. There's ways to improve it, but that's... my complaints were fairly minor. I enjoyed the voice acting quite a bit on Stormground and stuff. I thought there was a lot to love. That's a tough one, man. That's a tough one, because beware plastic crack. Oh, man. Oh, yeah. I could go, if I went back far enough, YouTube gets big. I should get in early. There we go. Get in early. There's my 3 words. Start YouTubing now. Oh, man. Okay. You'll be fine. Let chaos reign. I love it. Let's see. Nagash is all. That's a solid one. Okay. This is an interesting one. Now, again, this is one that's going to be a little bit hard for me to answer. And I guess I probably should have explained the rules of this game before we started. Basically, I'm going to ask a question, and then you guys go ahead and answer it. While you're answering, because there's a delay between us, I will go ahead and give you my answer. Let's see. In what ways are we the same? Meaning, have I ever said anything on the channel that you've been like, I'm like that too? So go ahead and throw that out there. For me, as far as things that people in the comments have said that I have been like, hey, that sounds like me. Honestly, a lot of the, what is it? A lot of stuff that kind of gets a little serious, where it's just like people talking about social anxiety and things like that. People have reached out to me after live streams and been like, hey, thank you for that. I also struggle with X. What else? Normalizing how quickly I swap armies. Several people have been like, yeah, absolutely. I also swap armies a ton. Over empathetic and introverted. Yeah, those are words to describe me. We love hot pockets in gaming. I have not had a hot pocket in 5 years. God, I feel like that should be longer. I feel like as an adult, I should have stopped hot pockets for longer than that. Oh man. I love a good story behind the battles. Nice. You and I are only alike in the way we love lore. I cycle through too many armies. You dig casual play? Absolutely. Robert, 82 plus stuff. I want to say that I am in love with Reign in Hell. I ordered 2 books and have been looking over the rules today. I have so many demon models that will work. Thank you for the vid. Oh, you're very welcome. Go ahead and honestly, if you take those same sentiments over to Vince and Adam, I know it would mean the world to them, because they very excited for their project, and I am excited for them. Army interest ADD, army swapping. Okay. Prophet of his shit. Army swapping, but I think I've settled now. What have you settled on? I'm kind of curious about that. I've said it before, but I like to think of myself as Scott Bakula in Quantum Leap. Just always hoping the next one will be home. You know, the next army that I do, that'll be the one that I want to keep. Okay. Let me get the next question here while those last few answers are trickling in. Okay. If you could eat only one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be? What would it be? If I could eat one thing for the rest of my days. Honestly, it's not going to be glamorous. I'm sorry, y'all. If I could eat one thing for the rest of my life, it would be a ham, cheese, and egg breakfast burrito. I could eat that every day and be and die very, very young and happy. Honestly, it's not really terribly that bad for you. It's you know, I lean heavy on the egg side rather than anything else. The other stuff's more just there for add a little bit of flavor. But yeah, no, I love eggs. I could eat all the eggs in the whole world. I should do that. Now I'm in Iowa, I can like get a chicken. I can like do egg things. You know, egg stuff like you do. Grilled cheese, pad thai, that's a great answer. Teriyaki beef, Thai food. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. If we're opening it up to, I guess, like genres of food, probably like a lot of those egg meals and that kind of stuff, like hearty breakfast type things, are Southern comfort foods. I guess technically that would be my pick. Eggsies. Yes. Okay. Got some cool answers coming in. No one said Hot Pockets yet that I saw, which is good. It means none of you are going to die very soon. Okay. Ooh, okay. So this one, I have my next question. I'm going to preface with I'm gonna truly open up and ask me anything, and if the topics of politics or religion bother you, I apologize. Just go ahead and tune out for a few minutes, because the next question is, what is a question that you've always wanted to ask me but never have. Also, Jack, you're wrong. Grape Laffy Taffy is the worst. What is a question you've always wanted to ask me but never have? Here's a question. So, obviously it's a little bit hard because I don't know all of you personally for me to answer, but a question that I would ask everybody is, do you love wargaming or do you love the Games Workshop hobby? Because some people, no matter what other games or designs come out, they just really want to stick with Games Workshop. So go ahead and ask your questions, and then you can drop your answers if you want. Why no kids? So for kids, to be perfectly honest with you, there is a lot of trauma in both my and my wife's childhoods. And to be super frank, this is an adult talking to adults. Intimacy is very hard. And it's just, I don't know. There's just been a lot of hurt in our childhoods. And so the idea of like raising a family and that kind of stuff, it's just been very difficult. I'm lucky enough to have found somebody who loves me as I am and is the greatest wife ever. She's so sweet and perfect, but we're getting there. I think we definitely are working on like a family's in our 5-year plan, but yeah. Just always thought you'd be an amazing dad. Well, that's super cute. Thank you so much. That's very sweet. Are you religious? I used to be, Matthew. So I actually went to school to be a pastor, get my degree in, and then go to seminary. And then in my first year of Bible college, I realized that it was not for me. So yeah, it was, I don't know. It was a combination of things of seeing people within the church be really crappy to each other, crappy to me. And I realized very early on that, what I really wanted to do was help people, and I don't need religion to do that. And so there's been a very long journey, of me figuring that out. And so, then I went into healthcare and changed people's lives in a way that didn't require anything of them. They didn't have to change. They just had to accept love, and that's all there is to it. Let's see. Who's your favorite Rerolling Ones member? I'm not going to answer that. That's a trap. That's like the Mad Max thing. That's bait. Looking for more questions. What is your weight? Too much. But I am on a diet plan now. I had a doctor's appointment Tuesday, and it went really well. So yeah, basically. So I found out on that note spiral, I found out that I have a sort of a rare condition where like my blood sugar, it's not the way my doctor, he poised it to me, was like, you don't have diabetes. And I was like, cool. I didn't know that we were looking for that. And he was like, yeah, that's important to know because this medication I'm going to put you on, basically I have a weird blood sugar thing. I don't really know how to articulate it, but so I'm on medication now to help stabilize it. And so I can actually start losing weight because I've been doing diet plans for forever and trying to lose weight and it just never happens. And so like, we'll try this and then we can go for more aggressive stuff afterwards. Let's see. Give me one sec here. Let me just line these pieces up. Oh, there's like different kinds of torsos. Okay, so there's like straight backs and then kind of a curved one. Okay, there we go. Let's see. What is your de facto favorite faction ever in any game? Favorite de facto faction? I'm going to say the humans from StarCraft, because the second you click on that guy with the flamethrower and he's like, need a light, you're just like, yes, I do need a light. I need a light all over my enemies over there. Empire or Stormcloak? Always Stormcloak, man. Always Stormcloak. We saw the Empire in Oblivion, and you know what? They were left wanting. Boom. They didn't have a lot going on. Let's see. That's a tough question. Started focusing on GW. Yeah. Your biggest AOS faction love. The faction that I love the most. Weirdly enough, honestly, it's been coming back around to Beasts of Chaos lately. Not because they're particularly good at any... I'm sorry, I have terrible hiccups right now. Not because they're particularly good at anything, but their book is very simple. I mentioned that earlier about how that's actually an appealing factor to me about the Soulblight Gravelords, is that their book seems very, very simple. I'm like, yes, we need more of that. Why do you not care for A Song of Ice and Fire intellectual property? Have you read the books or just seen Game of Thrones? For me, I find committing to a book series to be incredibly taxing, especially when there's all this stuff for Age of Sigmar that I want to read. So that's kind of a deterrent for the books. As far as the actual property, yeah, I did watch the show, did not like it. Yeah, I mean, that's about it. I just didn't, it's one of those things. I'll admit, I'm one of those people that, like, 1,000 folks are like, oh my god, you're gonna love Game of Thrones. Your eyeballs are gonna melt out of your skull with joy. And then you watch it and you're like, this isn't that great. I don't know. It just kind of set my expectations up for a little bit of failure. And I was like, no thanks. Now, I don't have a problem with the kind of fantasy it is, though. Someone mistakenly thought, like, oh, you don't like a specific, subtype of fantasy. I'm like, no, I don't really care. Just don't like the show. Okay, the torsos are almost done. The kids have no shortage of bedtime stories. Yeah. What's your favorite serial killer documentary? Actually, my favorite... Okay, so serial killer specifically. Serial killer documentary. I recently watched one on Jerry Brudos that was very interesting. This, not Jerry, the Son of Sam series on, I think it's Netflix, actually did a really great job with that story. Kind of just explaining the state of the city at the time, because New York has, in the, was it 70s or whatever, it was a madhouse. And so just taking the time to explain that and what communities it really specifically affects and that kind of stuff. I don't know, I thought it was very tastefully done. Let's see. What's your favorite historical period? Honestly, World War I era. I love learning about it because it was a really big turning point in world history where things that we thought we understood, we did not. For example, like we were moving away from traditional warfare into modern warfare, which is like, France has these great big walls, and then Germany's like, big walls don't matter anymore. Why? Because we have machine guns and artillery and, on another level. And so it was the world, it was a rapid pace for the world to figure out the game has changed with war, and nothing would ever be the same again. And so when you read stories, you're reading about leaders who were desperately trying to catch up. And that's an interesting thing to see people like, great generals use their intelligence on the fly, kind of like do the best with what they got, kind of a thing. It's crazy. how do you think the story of AOS will go after Broken Realms book? I think well, we know it's going to focus on Gur, and I think it'll just kind of stop there for a hot second. I'm going to rapid fire through a few of these here. How did you meet your wife? We met through a mutual friend. She had a girlfriend who needed to go get a ride to a Greyhound bus and wanted to take a friend, Jess, with her to say goodbye to. And I was the chauffeur. So after we dropped off our mutual friend at the bus stop, we hung out and got to know each other from there. And then we didn't talk for a month. My roommate in college was very creepy, and he started like online stalking Jess once. I don't really know why. So we had this kind of like, very brief connection of just dropping off a mutual friend at a bus stop. And then what actually initiated the conversation of us dating was me reaching out and be like, hey, listen, my roommate's kind of creepy. Like, keep an eye out, that kind of thing. Favorite tribunal god? Ooh, Almalexia. She's the best. Empire or Rebels? Empire. What AOS army did you have the most fun playing with? I really did like my Maggotkin. Most fun playing with. I don't know about that one. That's a tough one. Because I enjoyed them all in the moment, What's your favorite Elder Scrolls race and why is it Dark Elves? My favorite is Bretons. I love just the balance of magic and war, that kind of stuff. What's your favorite Chaos God? For me personally, lately I've been really digging Khorne. I'm not going to lie. I kind of oscillate between all of them. Actually, that's not true. I go between Tzeentch, Nurgle, and Khorne. I never am like, what's cool? Slaanesh. Battle Barn. Biggest issue with the Game of Thrones show is they chose to prioritize boobs over battles. Never go boobs over battles. Let's see. Have you watched the Netflix series about Son of Sam? Yes, that's what I was talking about. It's quite good. Vivek is the best. He's a plot device and nothing else. What Daedric Prince would you join? Oh, what cult would I join? What would I join? I don't know. That's a really good question. Probably Azura. Yeah, I think I would do that. She's cool. Doug, how do you keep your motivation for tedious stuff in the hobby like I'm basing for Plague Bear 19 out of 50? Honestly, doing stuff like this helps. Just turning on either a movie or a show that you like to watch and chatting with people. Yeah. Oh, Hamius Mora. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. I do love his Cthulhu reality splitting effect. Okay, I'll go with that. That guy wins. Do you think GW will ever get rid of double turn mechanics in third? My personal opinion, probably not. I don't think they're getting rid of that anytime soon. That is my wager. Now, I do think there's going to be ways to manipulate it more. As far as like, if you choose to go, rewarding you for choosing to go second, or creating situations where it's not always an auto choose kind of a thing, like it is partially right now. Oh, looks like this guy's missing part of his foot, but it's such a clean cut. That's so weird. Where's it at? Yeah, sure enough. Very strange. Yeah, it's not like a mold error. Maybe I cut it by accident earlier. Weird. Okay, well, we'll just put a big grass bundle under that foot so it looks like he's wading through the dirt. That's okay. Adapt, improvise, overcome. That's what Doug says about building models. Doug, if you could rule/live over one AOS city, what would it be? I'm going to say Hammerhall because not only are they jealously guarded by all kinds of defenses, but they also have what I'm assuming is probably the thickest of plot armor decorating their walls. That is what I would say. So I'm just going to organize these things real quick by ones that have... Awkward. Okay. Give me just a moment. Okay. I don't really know how these legs are going to go together combination-wise, but I'm going to figure that out later. Let's see. What AOS faction am I going to start next? I kind of about that a little bit earlier, where I'm kind of in a weird holding pattern for... I want to see what the Stormcast book looks like before I commit to my next project. If it's not something that I'm interested in, I will be doing Soulblight Gravelords. But if they seem cool, then I'll be jumping in with Stormcast. Specifically to try and make a really cool Stormcast plus Free Cities combination. Because that's kind of like just a modeling thing I wanted to do for a bit. But yeah. Elrit. Hey Doug, how's the project for Soulbound / Warhammer Quest games live going? They are not. They're kind of sitting on the back burner right now because Games Workshop is throwing so much stuff at me that I am drowning in content that I have to make. So, I gotta keep the promises that I already have to patrons as far as, content coming out regularly. Everything else is expansions from there when I have time. So I predict that much like they do whenever they drop a new edition, they'll drop it and then there'll be like a lull period, to kind of let things settle, and they'll focus on 40K for a bit. So that's kind of what I'm looking forward to kind of get going. Favorite piece of AOS art? I can show you this one because I actually talked to the artist about it. Let's see. Let's see if I can find a bigger version of that one. Okay, so this... So I'll do the shared screen here. This is terrible quality, I apologize, but it's in the Slaves to Darkness book. If you find the page where they talk about the path to glory, it's this picture here. Oh, sorry. So you have the Chaos Lord and the Spawn that is like this ever-present fear on his back. And I have loved this piece of artwork from the first day that I saw it. I was like, this is the most incredible thing ever. So yeah, that is it. That is my favorite piece of artwork. What's your opinion on AOS 3.0? I don't follow the stuff on social media. I apologize. Folks always assume that I'm like on the ball with everything, and I can't tell you enough how behind the 8 ball I am when it comes to rumors and stuff. I can't keep up. All right, so we're going to our next date night question here. Okay. If safety was not a concern, so nobody got hurt, nothing like that. If safety was not a concern, which natural phenomenon / disaster would you want to experience? What a weird question. I love this list that I found. For me, let's see. If there was no fear of injury, I don't know. Yeah, my first two thoughts were exactly what you guys said, was tornado, I was like, I don't really want to like get tossed in the air. Like, even if I land safely, I don't know. I don't want to be tossed around. The lava thing though sounds wicked. Ooh, lightning strike. That's a cool one. Plus, you walk away with a really awesome scar. You guys have seen lightning strike scars. Natural phenomena. I don't know. That's a weird one. Okay, this is gonna sound really bad, and I apologize. The footage that came out of Australia from people driving through the forest fires, and this happened in California here in the States as well. There's something about that is so trance-inducing. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just unparalleled destruction. And obviously, I'm factoring in. They said safety is not a concern. I'm gonna say that it's a natural wildfire that's good for nature, not like started by some punk kids who dropped a cigarette. That's a natural thing that's supposed to happen. But driving through that inferno just looked so crazy to me. I don't know. My guy just moved to Florida. Oh, no thanks. No thanks, no thanks, no thanks. Oh man, I can't do the heat and the humidity. I think I would just die. When I left Texas for college, I was like, I'm never coming back. And I have successfully not ever moved back to Texas. I pop in to see my family. That's about it. Let's see. All right, next question here. Hey Doug, what you building? These are clone infiltrators for conquest. Okay, these are some weird questions. Like, they get kind of dark on this list where it's like, if you have a house fire and you save your loved ones and your pets, what would you go back for, kind of a thing. It's like, no, I've had 2 house fires in my life. I'm good. Let's see, what would you consider the perfect day for you if you can change one thing about your life? Some of these are very deeply personal and weird. Okay, here we go. If you could meet one famous person, who would it be? Let's try and limit this one to the hobby. If you could meet someone in our hobby, who would it be? For me personally, I think I would love to grab a beer with Aaron Dembski-Bowden. I think he's a wonderful writer. Love all the work he's done. It's obviously mostly for 40K, but he also did write the short stories in Slaves to Darkness book. And personally, in terms of being able to write good characters, I think he is one of the strongest Black Library authors. Rerolling one's crew, Duncan, 2+ stuff. Oh, you humble me. Yeah, okay. Well, I'm gonna rule myself out because that sounds very conceited. Vincent Adam, yeah. We'll see if they get a booth to pimp their book at their next convention they go to. Okay. Okay, this. So to give you guys some perspective, okay, I pulled up like a list of dating questions from a random website that I found, and it goes into some pretty like, I mean, they're intended to be date night questions for people who are already been together, which I didn't know when I pulled it up. So it asks questions that like aren't relevant to us as far as like, how can I improve in our relationship and that kind of stuff. Kind of meaningful, deep questions. But I want to read this last one to you. This is literally the final question. Nuclear war has ravaged our city. It's no longer safe. We've just been told that we have 3 days to move before toxicity levels reach deadly. Where are we going? What? What an intense way to end your date night. Although I imagine it's a great little, like laugh at the ridiculousness of the question kind of a thing after some of the more intense ones. Maybe that's what they were going for. But there's the question. Where are we going for? Florida. Oh, God, no. Why would you? No. Hopefully Florida is the wasteland. It kind of already is. Hey-o. I'm going to go... Where am I going to go? Colorado, I think. It's got some good mountain regions. You can hunt. You can fish. You can do a whole bunch of stuff there. That's what I would say. I'm going to say Colorado. North Carolina. Is that the safest place? Does that have to be the same country? No, man, no. You just pick whatever. I'm just thinking of places that I know. Okay, here we go. Where am I at time-wise? Let's see. I'll do one more here. Following The Last of Us. Oh yeah, that's me. With not Ellen Page as the main character, yeah. Let's see. North Korea, probably the safest place in the world. What is perhaps the worst movie you've ever seen? Worst movie. I'm gonna say the Ben Affleck vehicle, Geely. It had no plot, no character development. It was awful. He's not a good anything. I don't really think he's that great of an actor, but he's not a good director. Insidious. Oh, you didn't like Insidious. Interesting. Okay. I don't remember that one, actually. Now I gotta think about it. Like, I tend to like horror movies, but I get them jumbled up in my head. Because a lot of them have, like, just one-word names like that. The Room. Oh, yeah, Room's pretty bad. Or Batman Returns. The Langoliers. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the amount of logical leaps that the characters within the Langoliers make is just absolutely absurd in the movie version. I haven't read the full book yet. But they're just like, what are those monsters? They're eating time! And you're like, how in the hell did you get there? What kind of shrooms did you take onto this plane? Predator? Are you kidding? No. Well, if you're just messing with me, Predator is an American classic. Governor Arnold, or former Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger, I don't think he's governor anymore, is an acting mastermind. And you will respect him on this channel. Star Wars Episode 8, fair enough. Birds of Prey, Suicide Squad, or some MCU movie, fair enough. Have I read Git Slayer, or am I planning to? I have not read it, and at the moment I have no plans to, but I mean, once they turn down the faucet on all these new books that they're pumping out, you know, like all the Broken Realms books and that kind of stuff, then I'll have the brain capacity to start reading things for fun again. It's a lot going on right now. Let's see. Silent Hill movie. I actually like the Silent Hill movie. You know, if I went into it expecting the games, like, you know, the plot from the games, I can see being disappointed, but I actually love the art direction they went with it. I think it landed the tone. Predator's an American treasure. Let's see. Lord of the Rings is one of the worst movies ever. Or the Hobbit trilogy. Yeah. I watched the first Hobbit movie and I was like, no, thank you. I'm good. This might be best described as a bit of a cash grab. Lightning doesn't strike twice. Okay, friends, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up here. I'm just finishing up some mold line cleaning. Thank you all so much for joining me. It was kind of a low-key day, just again, that's why date nights are fun to do because they're just kind of low-key. But that's because I was saving, information and that kind of stuff for tomorrow. So tomorrow, they're doing it's 12 o'clock my time, the unboxing of Indominus, and at that point I'll be able to talk about Broken Realms Kragnos to see if they kind of lead into one another, kind of a thing. So look forward to seeing that, and I hope you'll join me for that tomorrow. So anyway, friends, thank you all so much for hanging out with me today. It means a lot to me. I'll catch you next time. Happy wargaming.